Hi, so I'm Stéphane Landelle. I'm a co-founder and the CTO at Gatling, and today I'm going to talk to you about what we plan on building for 2026. Before we jump into that, I would like to do a quick recap of what we've been doing for the past decade. First, so more than 10 years ago, Gatling pioneered with a code-first approach for crafting load tests. Since back then, we've strongly believed that code was easier to maintain because you could easily manage its life cycle into a Git repository. Also because, in our opinion, a UI gets quickly over-bloated due to the huge number of configuration options. And also because code is easily composable. So you can create some pieces of requests or business processes, workflows, and then recombine them the way you want to build multiple scenarios. And I think that in 2026, we've been proven right, because in 2026, thanks to AI tools, it's never been easier to write code from human language. What we also build with Gatling is a blazing fast and resource-efficient load test engine, so that your load test engine wouldn't be the bottleneck during your tests, and also to help you reduce the cost of your load testing infrastructure. Then with Gatling Enterprise, we've also built a unique storage system that wouldn't skew with your metrics. In particular, it wouldn't compute averages on 1 second resolution percentiles, but instead it would aggregate distributions, stored distributions, and then recompute the percentiles on the aggregated distribution. So this is pretty unique and pretty nice. Also with Gatling Enterprise, we've built a great provisioning solution that meets enterprise requirements, and also that supports major cloud providers, so VMs, virtual machines on AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform. We also support Kubernetes and also support dedicated machines, so lots of different provisioning options. Once we've built that, we realized that what we had built was a load testing tool, yet another one, not a load testing platform. What we've been providing was a solution to implement load tests and investigate test results, but we are actually only addressing a small piece of the problem. The goal of load testing is not to implement load tests. It's really to serve the business and provide guarantees to the business that the application will meet the business requirements. So this is what we actually want to build in 2026. What we want to do is to go from being a load testing tool to really being a continuous performance intelligence platform. On top of our technical core, really, we want to build a platform with a strong business focus around performance methodology, decision enablement, IT leadership visibility, and also usage scaling. So first about performance methodology. So from all users, open source users, and enterprise customers, we've realized that lots of them struggle with defining their test goals. And they just end up throwing some random load against their applications and not really knowing what to expect from these tests. So when you build a test, the first thing that you want to define is the test conditions. So what kind of test are you going to build? Are you going to build a capacity test? Are you going to build a test that runs on nominal load, or maybe 4 times your nominal load to see if you can withstand some huge peak of traffic? A capacity test so that you can figure out when your application breaks, etc. Currently with Gatling, you need to define those in your code. And this is not very versatile. So what we want to help you with is define these injection profiles directly into the platform, and so that you don't have to edit the code when you want to change it, and also provide you with some assistance to define the proper injection profile, meeting your actual needs. This is also something that you should be defining up front, not directly in the code. In Gatling code, we've been providing an API for defining acceptance criteria. which is the assertions. But we realize that only our most advanced users and customers are actually using them. So we want to emphasize them way more. And also we want to switch to a more popular model nowadays, which is the SLOs, so service level objectives. So these are basically a commitment to a measurable level of performance over a defined period of time. This is exactly what we'll be building, something more advanced than the current assertions that are being applied on the whole test duration. Instead, this is something that is going to be measured every second, and at the end of the test, you'll get a percentage of the time that this acceptance criteria was actually met. The second thing is that we want to help you organize your tests. Instead of just having a very long list of tests, we are going to help you organize them. So the first thing that we are going to introduce is a campaign object. Basically, a campaign is a structured performance initiative with clear objectives and measurable outcomes. In the same object, you'll be able to group your different kinds of tests for a given campaign. On top of this campaign object, we also provide a project object that maps campaigns onto your application portfolio. In terms of roadmap, so in Q1 we'll be providing a UI for SLOs and injection profiles. And also we'll introduce the campaign object. And in Q2 we'll introduce the project object. The second theme is decision enablement. We've already shipped some features around this theme. So late in 2025, we've already provided integrations with Datadog and Dynatrace. And beginning of 2026, we also provided integrations with InfluxDB, New Relic, and OpenTelemetry. All these different features let you export your Gatling stats, so client-side metrics, directly into your APM solution so that you can build more complicated correlations between your client-side metrics and your server-side metrics. Also, in 2026, we've already provided you with AI-based reports for your tests. So these AI-generated reports give you general observations for each test run around 4 categories, so response times, assertions, errors, and injection profiles. And for each category, these give you actionable steps for your next test. On Q2, based on the campaign and project objects, we also provide some scores based on the different test results that compose the campaigns, so that you'll have one single indicator aggregated that reflects how well your performance objectives are actually met. The third theme is IT leadership visibility. So in Q1 this year, we've already provided you with a new version of our usage dashboard. So management can already have a way better insight on how adoption is faring in your organization. In Q3, what we'll be providing is automated reports on campaigns and projects so that your management directly gets a report pushed to them, probably by email, so that they don't have to connect onto the platform. We also expose time series on an API and so that it can also be manipulated from an MCP server so that you can build custom test reports. And then in Q4, we'll also be providing the similar thing for projects and campaigns so that you can also build custom reports on these objects. The final theme is scaling the usage of the load testing in your organization beyond just a few experts. And the right tool for this is AI in all the places. So from test strategy design to optimizations. In Q1, we've already provided a few AI assistants. One for VS Code, and we also support anti-gravity, cursor, and some others. And we'll also be providing soon an MCP server that you can use to launch tests directly in Gatling Enterprise. In Q2, what we also want to provide is conversion assistance. We've realized that lots of our users are actually struggling with large test suites migrations, be them from migrating to another tool to Gatling, or migrating from an old Gatling version to a more modern one, or migrating from a specific Gatling SDK, typically from Scala, migrating to a language that's more popular in their organizations, being Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, Kotlin. So we want to provide you with some AI-based tools that helps you with these massive migrations. We also want to provide you with an assistant for designing your campaign. So you can interact with this chatbot, so it can help you figuring out what are the proper settings and the proper kind of tests you want to run for your tests, for your application. In Q3, we also want to provide a contextual feature assistant, so an assistant that will help you understand the different features in the platform. And you also want to provide you with an MCP server for building custom reports. So as I said, either for test results, but also for managing, observing the whole load test efforts in the organizations, on the different teams, on the different projects and the different campaigns. So as a conclusion, this is how we planned to move from just being a load test tool to a continuous performance intelligence platform. So load testing has matured technically, now it must mature organizationally. It must align with business objectives. It must be visible at leadership level and demonstrate value. And it must scale to the whole organization beyond just a small experts team. This is how we planned to move from just being a load test tool to a continuous performance intelligence platform. So load testing has matured technically, now it must mature organizationally. It must align with business objectives. It must be visible at leadership level and demonstrate value. And it must scale to the whole organization beyond just a small experts team. So this is the next chapter for Gatling. So